How's it going, everyone? Oxy here, and welcome back. So, we got some very concerning news, I gotta admit, over on the Xbox side. And yeah, it's been a crazy week, and we're finally gonna get answers next week. So, what am I talking about? So, if you haven't been paying attention, there have been a lot of rumors in these past few weeks about Xbox and exclusivity, in the sense that a lot of their games that are exclusive are gonna go head over to other consoles, whether that be the PlayStation or the Switch, right? But yeah, it started with games like Hi-Fi Rush. Of course, Shadow dropped, right, and it's like became a pretty like a sleeper hit, which was like good. That's what Xbox needs, like good games. It's been rumored for the longest that one was gonna come to Switch at first, which honestly makes sense. It's like it has that vibe to it. But I believe it's been data mined or something that there's like shirts or some cosmetic in game that references like PlayStation and Switch, as in like the game will come to everything. Which again, it was a game that was shadow dropped, right? It was during like I believe it was like a January, yeah, like last year, like a January direct, or the Xbox's little showcases, right? That they've started doing in the same way like a Nintendo Direct or Sony State of Play. Now that E3 is dead. So it was shadow dropped, and it's a smaller title. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Another one was Sea of Thieves, right? Online service game that, sure, when it came out, it was very bare bones, like, but now it's grown and it's actually like, from what I hear, like a great game. That's another one that makes more sense in the always online, those type of games, live service. I'm like, yeah, just like Elder Scrolls Online stayed multi-plat. I'm like, that's a perfect game to bring to other consoles. Like, it makes sense. The problem was then that all of a sudden we're getting rumors that big tentpole exclusives would make the move, and that's where the issue is, right? So the first one was like Starfield, which had people, they have their opinions, right? It's like originally it was gonna be multi-plat, at least on PlayStation as well. But then Xbox bought Bethesda, so obviously that changed that. Like it became a strictly exclusive. Now it doesn't help that the game wasn't received the best, right? It's like a very much like 7 out of 10 game, and it's rumored that we're getting an expansion for it. So I believe like this year, but like probably late this year, and that the PlayStation version would be like a complete edition that would come at some point, maybe earliest probably like 2025, or late this year if they get it out, that expansion early. But it's speculated like 2025, which again, some people felt some type of way because like, hey, that's like a big exclusive. Like, why would you just give it away like that at that point? But then for me, like for me specifically, the real issue was that even major series now, like Gears of War, or I don't think Halo was mentioned, but you'd assume like would come over, and at that point, it's like, bruh, what, like, why own an Xbox at that point if you're literally putting your major exclusives, right, like the titles that made you, especially in the 360 era, right? The era where you actually dominated. And yes, the PS3 ended up outselling it by like a million. It's literally right there. Like the 360 was the era that Xbox actually was like the big boy in town. And Gears of War like literally made you, right? Halo 3. And it's like, you're going to put these titles on other consoles? Like, for what? Because they're not giving you anything in return. Nintendo and PlayStation aren't going to put, right, anything here. So it's like, why do that? Like, I don't get it. So a lot of it is like, it's being speculated that, being that the CEO, like Satya Nadella, is like always been a software guy, but he was behind like the Windows Phone, like that shutting down. There's just a feeling that Xbox might drop out of the console market period, just become like a developer, basically Sega or Atari, how they used to be console makers but just dropped out, and then put Game Pass everywhere, right? Like on PlayStation, on Nintendo, and then, that's their whole, like, gamers around the world can play. But that's the thing, I'm like, I don't see Nintendo, maybe, as crazy as that sounds, I could see them kind of maybe making a deal. But PlayStation, I don't see that. I don't see them allowing Game Pass to be available. Like what's the point in that, right? Microsoft would literally be making the money off of it. And, got so bad to the point where even Phil Spencer, Xbox, right, CEO, had to step in and basically tweeted out that, like, next week, which, of course, this comes out Wednesday, so will be sometime next week, that, it says something like, oh, we hear you, and we're planning a business, like, event, or, like, yeah, like, an announcement type of thing to kind of explain the future of Xbox, but the way it was worded does give a sign that some of these rumors are true. Like, some of these exclusives are gonna head over to other consoles. And, like, fanboyism aside, because, of course, having no exclusives is amazing. Being able to play any game anywhere is, like, the goal, right? Like, it's idiotic to think that these companies are gonna, like Xbox might try to be like oh, look, we're doing it, so everyone should do it. Okay, they're not going to. You really think Nintendo's gonna put Mario or Zelda on another console? Hell no. Same thing with PlayStation. Like, they've just got around to putting games on PC, but, like, years down the line, right? With the, like, whether they want to admit it or not, exclusive sell consoles, right? That's how, like, PlayStation has, like, dominated the console space, really. It's because they put out consistent quality games. That's, like, the most baffling thing to me about all this is, like, yeah, it literally gives, like, the DJ Khaled meme, the, like, congratulations, you played yourself. Like, I don't see the benefit of Microsoft giving up, especially their main exclusives, like Gears of War, Halo. That just makes no fucking sense to me. It's literally like, at that point, why would I own an Xbox? Like, what? Like, why would I care about the hardware, right? Because if I'm a PlayStation gamer, I have obviously the great exclusives, and on top of that, I get access to Xbox games. I have no reason to ever buy into the Xbox, like, anything. Again, I really don't believe Game Pass is going to be everywhere. That, like, the companies had to allow that, right? And yeah, it's just baffling to me. Like, it just seems like, again, whether it's the Microsoft CEO kind of stepping in or investors, it really seems like they trying to maximize out profits. So that to them, like, okay, on a business side, sure, you have a game like Starfield. Of course, it's exclusive for like a year or two. You get as much money out of it as you can, and then afterwards, you put it out on like PlayStation or the Switch, or the eventual, like, if we get the Switch 2 this year, right? Like, Nintendo's next console. It's, like, powerful enough. You put them on there. But then it's like, I don't know. That if you do that with every exclusive, right? Or, like, Microsoft owns studio, like all Bethesda games, stuff like that. At that point, I'm like, yeah, but then what is the point of ever getting into Xbox? Because if I'm on PlayStation, it's like, well, if I'm going to get these eventually, I'll just wait. Like, that's why people fear is Microsoft just getting out of the console space. Like, they won't make any more consoles, and, of course, like, then they could put their games everywhere, and then they don't have to worry about it. I don't know. For me, it's not smart. Like, I don't know. Or it's like, it would just be a shame, really, for Microsoft to just jump out of the console space. It's like, you're picking up steam. Like, yes, Don Matrick, of course, the main enemy of Xbox back at the Xbox One showcase. He really set them back. I mean, they've never recovered since then. Again, the original Xbox did okay. It sold more than the GameCube, believe it or not. Of course, the PS2 is the highest selling console of all time, so no one stood a chance there. 360 again. Yes, the PS3 sold more in the end, but the Xbox basically dominated that generation. It came out a year earlier, was cheaper. I mean, remember they were trying to sell the PS3 for like 600, which I heard somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that in today's money it'd be over $1,000. But yeah, I don't know, it's ridiculous to me. For them to put their main exclusive, that's just stupid. Like, that's suicide at that point. If you're still going to be in the console space, if they're leaving, well, that's a shame. I'm probably going to switch over to PlayStation because, again, there's no incentive to stick with them. And, like, them putting some games on multiplat, it wouldn't be an issue for me, but it's just more of like, but you still gotta have exclusives, at least Game Pass exclusives, right? It's like, again, why else would I care? And as I keep saying, I don't see Nintendo or PlayStation allowing Game Pass. Maybe a couple years down the line when like internet infrastructure is better, right? Because, Microsoft wants to be like the Netflix of gaming, and then they don't have to make hardware, and it's all like, oh, right? Yeah, but we're not there yet. Like, the cloud streaming, like, games, like, it sucks, right? Like, internet around the country, around the world, it isn't there yet. Like, you're a little too ahead. Basically, what Google Stadia tried to be and miserably failed, we're not there yet. Give it, like, I don't know, probably like 30, 50. Like, it's going to be a while. Give it time. Like, Microsoft is literally recently, their market cap was like 3 trillion. They're the biggest company in the world. Even Google with YouTube is only at like 1.8 trillion. Like, you're the biggest company in the world. Like, I don't know, put some of that money and invest maybe into Xbox. Like, keep making your consoles. And here's an idea. Just make good fucking games. Like, how hard is that? Seriously. Like, look, I don't care. You put Indiana Jones or, like some of those games on, like, console, sure. But at the same time, exclusive self-systems, like Hellblade 2 looks amazing. The first game was, like, Game of the Year worthy. That's coming out, right, very soon. Keep that exclusive. Make it just like, hey, Xbox can make these, like, well, I guess what Sony excels at, right? Like the third person, like, action adventure game. Like, we can do that too. It has to be announced this year, I'm certain, at the summer showcase. Like, it's Software's next game, Quake, or I'm pretty sure it's Quake. I doubt it's like another Doom. Like, that could be your first major, well, depending when it comes out, if it comes out this year or 2025. But Hellblade's this year, and Stalker too, if it ever comes out. Like, the idea is like Quake, a game like that, with id Software, right? One of the most important and, like, highly regarded developers of all time. It's like a game like that, make it an exclusive, right? That, to me, I think that is potentially a system seller. I mean, Doom Eternal, Doom 2016, both robbed easily Game of the Years each year they came out. And it's like, yeah, like, no one does shooting better than id Software. Like, you make Quake exclusive, like, with that quality, and then you obviously back them, as in, like, see, like, this is us, Xbox, and we're, like, we can produce quality games. Like, I'm telling you, at least I think that game would be insane. And then, more games like that come, right? Like, all these games that are coming. That's it. It's like, just invest more in the gaming space. You're the biggest company in the world. You could afford to, right? Like, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see the announcement. Again, I am a little worried if they really go that route and just put every exclusive on other consoles. It's time to switch sides, boys, because there's really no point in caring about their hardware. They clearly don't. And I know for a lot of longer fans, people who have, since the original Xbox, who are deeply, like some of them are more hurt by it, as in, like, oh, like, is it really the end? And again, I hope not. I hope that they could just see the value of, like, just invest in your brand. You know, real, like, Game Pass being everywhere just isn't there realistically. Like, you're already on TVs, right? Like mobile, like you already offer the most, like, space that whole games can be played anywhere. You already do that, like, you know. So it's like, invest in some exclusives in the hardware. Like, don't stop physical media, because they did lay off, like, that whole department. It's like, keep that alive. Like, you guys did so much with backwards compatibility. It's like, don't stop that. Like, show us that we care, like, that you care, and the fans will come. Keep putting out, like, great games. Like, Sony can do it. Like, what's stopping you? But we'll see. But I am fearful. If you want my honest, what I think they'll announce is probably some games. It might be blown out of proportion. Gears of War, stuff like that, I don't like. I'd have to see it to believe it. I can't see them doing that. Starfield, sure. Probably the Indiana Jones game, maybe. Like Hi-Fi Rush, those, yeah. I can see them putting a few, or maybe them just being like, look, like this, like, we're putting out some, again, case by case, but as long as they reassure the fan base, like, hey, but we're Xbox, we're devoted, and we're still gonna have exclusives, or give us a sneak peek to reveal something, right? Be like, you have games only on Xbox you can look forward to. We'll see. Do I think they're leaving the console space? No. At least it seems out of nowhere. And then if you remember the FTC, the Activision Blizzard lawsuit, that acquisition, there was rumors of, like, they're doing a mid-gen upgrade, right? Like a digital Series X. I think double the space, or like 2 terabytes, but it's all digital. It's expected this year, maybe next year. But yeah, so it's like, you guys are clearly still doing hardware, so yeah, don't put all your exclusives, like you're capable of, fighting off. You're capable, like the 360 proved it. You can compete. Again, Don Matrick really ruined the Xbox One, and just even into the series, just haven't been able to put out, like, that one, like, true gem. But I think with Hellblade 2 especially, and then definitely with its software, like that Quake game, like, that there you'll prove, if you keep it exclusive, right? You'll prove, like, Xbox is capable of making these banger games, and you continue from that, right? Whether it's in your more studio acquisitions, or just they're cooking up new games. We finally get that Perfect Dark game, right? The Initiative, or like all these announced games, and they come out great. It's like, yeah, Fable is another exciting one, right? And you just prove, like, yeah, like we're Microsoft, and we can compete. And that's all we want, right? Just give us a reason, like, why we bought into the brand. But we'll see. We gotta hope for the best. And yeah, guys, let me know what you think. But pretty crazy times we live in. But yeah, that's the video. Sorry, it's a little long, but again, just want to get my thoughts out there, and ultimately, what do you guys think? But with that, yeah, I try to make videos like at least once a week. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, everyone, I've been your host, Soxy. Take care, and I'll see you next time.